When the ships crossed the Atlantic, they carried more than chained bodies. They carried the heartbeat of a continent. From the ashes of bondage, new lives began. Africans arrived in strange lands, stripped of everything, names, languages, and families. But in the darkness of those foreign shores, they did something extraordinary. They began to rebuild themselves. They built families where none were allowed. They created communities where hope had been banned. They planted seeds of identity and soil watered with their tears. And slowly, from the ruins of slavery, the roots of a new Africa began to grow in the New World. In Jamaica, Brazil, Haiti, and the American South, the enslaved turned survival into creation. They blended the rhythms of Africa with the realities of a new world. When forbidden to speak their languages, they created new ones, Creole, Patois, and Gula. When their gods were outlawed, they hid them behind saints and angels, birthing new faiths like Vodou in Haiti and Candomblé in Brazil. Every drumbeat, every song, every story whispered at night was an act of defiance. Through memory and creativity, they remade who they were. They became Africans not only by birth, but by rebirth. They could not return to Africa, so they brought Africa to them. No story shines brighter than Haiti, the land where freedom spoke in African tongues. In 1791, the enslaved people of Saint-Domingue, led by Toussaint Louverture, Jean-Jacques Dessalines, and Dutty Boukman, rose against the French Empire. They fought with the memory of ancestors behind them and the dream of freedom before them. Through fire, blood, and unity, they broke their chains, not only for themselves but for all enslaved Africans across the Americas. And in 1804, Haiti became the first free black republic in the New World. The colonizers called it rebellion. History calls it rebirth. Haiti proved that Africa's spirit could never be crushed. It could only rise again, stronger, wiser, and free. Haiti's victory sent tremors through the Caribbean and the Americas. It became a beacon for the enslaved, proof that resistance was not a dream, but destiny. In Jamaica, the Maroons, escaped slaves, built hidden mountain communities that defied British rule. In Brazil, Africans established the Quilombos, free territories where no master could step. And across the Americas, secret networks of rebellion spread like fire beneath the soil. Wherever an African heart beat, freedom had a voice. They created schools, churches, marketplaces, and families that became the foundations of entire nations. In every corner of the New World, Africa rebuilt herself, piece by piece, soul by soul. Even when freedom was denied, expression was not. The enslaved found liberation through art, music, and faith. They created spirituals in the fields, songs coded with secret messages of escape and hope. They invented new dances that carried the rhythm of ancestors, the beginnings of samba, reggae, blues, and jazz. Their music became the heartbeat of freedom movements centuries later. Their prayers became the roots of new spiritual traditions that gave strength to generations. Every drum, every hymn, every story was a brick in the rebuilding of the African soul abroad. By the 19th and 20th centuries, the children of the enslaved stood on the foundations their ancestors built. They became leaders, poets, teachers, and revolutionaries. In the United States, they forged movements for civil rights. In the Caribbean, they called for independence. In Brazil, they preserved African heritage through music, dance, and festivals like Carnival, which, beneath the masks, still beats to African drums. These legacies live on not only in nations, but in spirit. Every language spoken, every rhythm played, every freedom fought for, carries the echo of those who refused to disappear. They turned captivity into culture. They turned sorrow into sovereignty. They rebuilt themselves, and in doing so, rebuilt the world. Today, when you walk the streets of Port-au-Prince, Kingston, Salvador, or New Orleans, you hear it. The rhythm of Africa living again. In the laughter of children, the pulse of drums, the strength of faith, and the pride of black identity, the motherland breathes. From Haiti's freedom flag to Jamaica's reggae soul, from Brazil's samba parades to Harlem's jazz, Africa lives on not as memory, but as presence. Her children turned exile into empire. Their creativity became the blueprint for global culture. Their survival became the world's inheritance. The story of the enslaved is not only about loss, it's about rebirth. They did not vanish into the past. They remade the present. They took the shattered pieces of identity and built nations. They rewrote what it means to be free. They turned pain into power and bondage into brilliance. So when we speak of the New World, we speak of Africa reborn. Let us remember, the greatest construction project in human history was not made of stone or gold, it was made of spirit. Subscribe to Journey Through Africa, and walk with us through the stories of courage, creation, and the rebirth of a people who refused to be erased. Because Africa did not disappear across the ocean. She rebuilt herself in every nation, every song, and every heartbeat that still remembers her name.